I think it was quite difficult for me to understand and to accept how hard it is to really learn how to love. Because, as I have already stated in another episode of our podcast, I think that this is the ultimate goal of reincarnation and the ultimate goal of our evolution, to really learn how to love. So, speaking about not only my past life as Piotr Ilich, but all the almost 30 past lives that I have explored until now, I have lived, of course, many love stories, and most of them were shared with the same spiritual being. Of course, that the roles were completely different. Sometimes I was the man in the couple, sometimes I was the woman. We do have this kind of homosexual relationships and so on. The stories were, of course, quite different, placed in different periods of time, different places on earth and so on. But it was hard for me to accept that it took us such a long time, and it cost us so much suffering to really learn how to appreciate each other and how to love. And what was in an extremely profound way explained to me in Being Piotr Ilich is that love is, let's say, learned by missing. That so frequently, in order to really appreciate the other one, you have to miss him. So this is why so many life scripts were built for myself in such a way that I was so frequently separated by the one I was loving, and so frequently the other person died, or I died and I couldn't be with him or her anymore. So all the time I perceived this feeling of separation, which produced me such a deep pain and such a great sufferance. This feeling of separation, this feeling of losing the one you really love, and the idea of living so many years without him or her and still missing him or her, produced such an intense and deep feeling of love. And of course that what is hard for a human being is to accept the fact that you do have to suffer so much in order to be able to love the other one in a profound way. Because what we do call love here on earth is something which is not so pure, and it's not the real feeling of love, of higher vibration that we do feel in the world beyond, in the higher realms. Here on earth, unfortunately, love is filtered by so many expectations that it is frequently mingled and mixed with the feeling of need. Love is frequently conditioned on earth when it should be ideally an unconditional love. So in order to really learn how to love, unfortunately we all had to pass through so many losses, through so many years of missing the other one, because only through this contrast, only by having this mean of comparison, we really reach the point to really appreciate his or her presence, his or her existence. Only by seeing what it really means to be without the other one, you start appreciating each second of living with the other one. So unfortunately, God made me feel many times in so many lives this separation, this contrast of missing and of losing the other one. Moreover, what I very clearly understood when I worked on my past existence as Piotr Ilyich is that the intensity and the power of a relationship lays in the obstacles that you once had to surpass in order to be with the other one. I mean, if two persons simply meet and start a relationship without any problems, there is no conflict, no obstacle, the two families gather together in a happy way and everything is all right and tends to be like in a Hollywood movie, then that relationship is not as powerful and as profound as another relationship built up, let's say, on the pattern of Romeo and Juliet. So when there are a lot of conflicts, a lot of obstacles to overcome by the two partners in order to manage to be together, this is exactly what gives strength to the relationship. And if you do live many times different difficult situations in a relationship, then you gain a lot of, how should I name it, a lot of inner richness. There are a lot of nuances which enrich your relationship, and the relationship becomes very, very profound and very, very intense. I have lived, unfortunately, many past lives when I had a lot of obstacles to surpass in my love relationship. And of course that one of the most dramatic situations is the one described in Being Piotr Ilyich, because we had there a lot of problems, a lot of moral problems, a lot of obstacles of many types to surpass. But generally speaking, I have lived more, let's say, Romeo and Juliet kind of relationships. And I think that although it is very hard to accept it, this is what makes the story of a couple. And if the two persons really managed to surpass all these problems and they do still want to be together and they still fight for their relationship, this is what makes their relationship be very intense, very strong and very profound. And I will ask for your permission to read you a short excerpt from Being Piotr Ilyich, because I think that what the divinity has shared with me with so much generosity in this excerpt is a very good, and it's the best conclusion to your question regarding how a love relationship is built at the end of such an immense effort. The barriers that I have placed on your path have made both of you run towards each other with a force that a trivial situation would have never given you. Why would you run so hard when you don't have to break down walls? The power of love lies in the obstacles that two twin spirits overcome together in so many successive lives. The intensity of a relationship comes from whatever stopped you from being together. It consists of the effort to discover the other one. When I place two people at opposite ends of the earth and make them walk for a lifetime through the cold and rain to find each other, the situation can never be compared with two people I placed face to face from the beginning, so they need just reach out in order to touch each other. You have to understand this and accept that otherwise you couldn't get there. To love as strongly and intensely as you wanted could not have happened otherwise. Your story was conceived as a love beyond borders, which I had to push very far, extending any possible conventions. A love far from appearances, surpassing you allegedly unsuitable bodies, a relationship in which only what you feel matters, not what you see, what you believe or what your mind tells you. To abandon yourself to such love when everything, but really everything, seems so inappropriate is extremely enlightening. It's as if I would make a man in a wheelchair fall in love with a blind man. If I could reach that, I would certainly know that the two can love each other anytime, anyhow, anywhere. My dear child, love is something you learn. To love is not, unfortunately, a natural human gift. On earth, what you often call love is, as a matter of fact, an approximate feeling. To need the other person, to be afraid of loneliness, or to develop a kind of partner dependence, to have expectations that you want to be fulfilled as a currency in a relationship, or to simply seek physical satisfaction, all these do not mean real love. True love is generous in the extreme. It is unconditional, as I love you all.